Ram. I'm the founder of benefitsEZ. Thank you, Chris, for giving me the opportunity to present the product here. So benefitsEZ is an online marketplace for employer-sponsored benefits. If you take US employers, they typically end up spending $1,500 per employee per month. And the way the benefits are priced is they're priced just for a year. So every year, the HR or the finance guy in a company has to reprocure, recontract the benefits, and the benefits costs are escalating all the time. And the plan designs, health plan benefit designs are changing, and costs are getting shifted to employees, right? So there is this is a problem of cost, not only to the employer, but also as well as to the employees. So the way this happens today is, typically, there is broadly three components. One is the benefit strategy and the procurement aspect of it, which is managed by a human broker. A guy comes in once a year, shows up the face, and what they do, what's called a spreadsheeting. They just pass around a bunch of spreadsheets, super manual process, super legacy 40-year-old process, works with a bunch of carriers. And typically, once the carrier is contracted, they tend to keep the change to the minimum, because when you want to change, it's difficult to change the carrier. So switching costs are high, and there's retention bonuses and vested interest to retain the current carrier. So you can't be sure that you're getting the best value on your the dollars that you're spending on benefits. So this is the procurement part, and there is an administration part. Typically, they end up using some benefits software or something, and then there's the compliance part. If you take Obamacare, ACA, that requires you to file with IRS, and you end up spending filing. What benefitsEZ solves the problem is brings the competitive procurement with the benefit strategy and the benefits administration, as well as the problem of compliance, everything together into the secured cloud platform. And so if you look at this, this is a regulated industry, so I have to work with the carriers. I am a licensed broker for this reason, and all my licenses and in every state you have to acquire the licenses. All my licenses are here. The appointments with the carriers are here. This is at the back end from a process standpoint, right? But from the front end, the software has multiple components. It has got the employer experience, employee experience, as well as the carrier side. So let me kind of log in. You can basically sign up here in a simple registration form. It's top-notch security. It's got dual-factor authentication and protected by Norton, extended validation, and all of that. So let me log in to an account. That I have pre-created and advanced in the process. So as soon as you log in, this is the employer experience. The HR or the benefits administrator would log in. You can see setup, procure, enroll, and then you can do the rest of it. So if you go to the setup, I'm just kind of giving you a glimpse of what the process involves. So when you look into the benefits, the way it is you have to collect a lot of the the carriers want a lot of data about your company, what the employees are, what their demographics, so that they can underwrite it and estimate the risk and price the products. So what the software helps is the software helps collate all of the data in a business process. So for instance, this is a company, Quadrator prices, it's got the basic company set up, and it's got multiple contacts, stuff like that. Then you can upload the roster. You can simply upload your employee roster, and then load it and map it, and you can manage all your employee data here, and you can get outputs as well. It builds up the current cost structure. What is your current dollars that you're spending on your benefits today? So it makes and uses this as the baseline, and then it helps auto build a strategy, and then it applies certain cost shifting strategies. And for instance, if you don't have a tax advantage, the HSA scheme, it'll bring in that. It'll come up with some proposed options. So you build your benefit strategy. Most of it is auto-generated, very few clicks, and this is only for the first year. Subsequent years, the entire thing is automated. You just literally click. You don't have to do any data entry or anything. You can build multiple contribution strategy. It builds up the proposed benefit plan. It supports all of the tax advantage schemes. Basically it builds up an RFP of all the data that the carrier wants to be able to package and underwrite it. So it's almost like a reverse auction, right? So then what you do is once you set up the data, you can procure it by inviting the carriers to compete for your business. So all these carriers I have the access and the contract with them, so we can invite the carriers, and these carriers will have the package of your information, and then this is what, and then they'll have the quotes bring in. Once we get the quotes will come in, and there's a carrier side of the version here. I'm not showing you, but it would be something I would be doing at proxy for the carrier until this picks up a lot of business. And so once the rates are coming in, we can do the analysis, economic analysis at the individual plan level. You can get the plan design. It has integrated analysis, and you basically, it helps you finally contract the right option, the best value option. One of the things that happened, okay, so there's a lot of functionality in here. This is a very sophisticated platform I built. So benefitsEZ on the company is about 8 months old. I used to be a product officer building public exchanges. I was the chief product officer responsible for launch of Federal Shop Exchange, Massachusetts Connector Exchange, and I left the job to basically create transparency, bring in transparency to employers, and create the disruption to the human manual broker system. And I have about 2 contracted customers, revenue generating customers, who I was able to create value relative about 11% benefit in terms of 120K for about 100 people company. And then I'm working with about a half a dozen customers right now as we speak. And my business is I'm bootstrapped, self-funded right now. My plan is basically to get about a dozen customers out of 1,500 employee population this year, and then look for VC funding. I have an amazing technology platform and a product which is well built, runs on Amazon Web Services. If you're a business owner or an employee of a company, please put the word to your HR person. Yes, sir.
What level of person, in terms of insurance knowledge, have you designed this?
Well, this is designed for the employer administrator, as well as the employees. What I showed you is employer administrator. They know generally the process, how that works. They don't have to actually know the insurance. The process, the software is going to help all of them. And they have the further assistance by a licensed broker as well, like myself.
As part of the package?
Yes.
So the person would have access
to me or any benefitsEZ licensed agent, because it is too early for me to say I don't need the human component completely, right? Because there is negotiations, there is aspects of it. Because the back-end part of it is significantly manual, there is strategy aspect of it. So the first thesis is really the transparency aspect of it. Everything is available, the employer, depending on some employers don't want to do it, they don't want to know about it. Some employers want to know, so there's different types of companies. To answer your question, the idea here is to ease this. For example, economic analysis, it will do all of that, intelligence, all of that, right? Very minimal. I don't want the employer to be an insurance expert. That's the whole idea here. But it is still assisted in a combinatory mode. Eventually, my thesis is, we'll create more awareness and things will get easier. Yes, ma'am.
What's the cost to the employee?
So, by the way, I forgot to tell. It's entirely free of cost to the employer. It even files your IRS 1095, which costs money. Rest of there is a bunch of people who have made softwares to just file those, the paperwork. Everything is taken care. It's a cloud platform, 24/7, free. How am I getting paid? I'm getting paid by the carrier, the commission fees and the sales fees of the book of business. I am the broker of record. The fees are baked into the premium, and so there is no cost to the employer. Of course, the employer is paying, the premium cost, but it's, they don't, they basically think, it's free. Yes?
Sorry, a follow-up question. So how competitive are these rates?
So the rates aspect is, the competitiveness comes in terms of exploiting the market options that are available. I can't control what the carrier is going to quote, and the carrier doesn't generally, they're very sophisticated process they have, and they're not just going to go and randomly go and change prices. But the issue, what you're solving is, most of the times human brokered system, they won't even exploit everything. So they will just say, here is my inflation of blah, blah, whatever, 10%, 15%. They'll give you some excuses because rather than spending the time in shopping around, they can work on the next customer and keep the change to the minimum. So that's the problem this will eliminate, because I don't have to do a lot of the work. It completely automates the communication, and it is to all of those carriers. Yes, sir.
Is it really competitive, because you are the common broker for all the carriers? So can it really be called a competitive process, or
No, I don't price the products. I facilitate the connection. Well, I advise for the customer, and I have created a platform of transparency that brings the transparency across the process, and we can even electronically negotiate. As an employer, you can put in a comment, like a Skype-like offline chat and messaging to the carrier and all of that. So it's competitive because there are multiple carriers going to be quoting for your book of business. And then we're going to be doing the price analysis, and we're also going to craft the strategy, because this benefit strategy is pretty complicated in terms of health plan design. So this will help all of that, and basically right-sizing the benefits for your demographics based upon your age, population, and stuff like that. What's the right size? Right-sizing the benefits, bringing all parties together, normalizing, and the analysis, and that's one part of it. So that's why. It can be done by the human broker. A thorough, excellent broker can do it. I'm not saying that, but the idea here is you get the added advantage of the technology. Everything is completely available. All your contracts are available. Everything is there. Next year you can renew it very easily through the process, and you get to see. Plus you have the human assistance as well. Yes, sir.
Show 401k plans as well.
What is the question?
Show 401k plans for the company.
I don't have 401k yet. I need funding. Once I get the funding, we can put anything on the platform. So I don't have 401k, sir, yet. But I do primarily health benefits. My thesis is to build 16 plus 17 all US employer benefits, completely bring in and build like this as an Amazon-like platform because this is a non-commodity. This is a complex transaction. This is not a widget commodity. This is so I built a platform for non-commodity marketplace. That's what I built, and I'm using this to launch.
Thank you, benefitsEZ.
Thank you so much.